So, you've been looking through this course for a very long time. Probably not. Your time is money because the one thing we can't get back is time. So, let me break this part down to you since we're talking about money. We're in the financial consideration part of the child care crash course. And for a person who has been a teacher, used child care, ran a child care, now is a consultant of child care, I think I'm one of the people that can give you the best information on this. So while you're doing child care, you need to consider a couple of things. You need to consider the time you need for your child to be in the child care. You need to consider the balance of your pay schedule that you have, and you need to consider the options, all options. Now, most people tell you when you are working a 9 to 5 job for 35 hours a week, they will tell you that the best place for you to be is a daycare or early education center. Now, stop what you're doing right now and go back. There's a difference between a daycare and an early education center. But a lot of us have forgotten about one thing that we have out there, which are home daycares. Now, some of us look at home daycares and think, my child is in someone else's house. I can't control anything. I don't know who they're going to have in their house. Parents, keep in mind, a home daycare is a business ran from the time of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Just because you see a home daycare does not mean they don't have the accreditations that probably more in some of them that the actual centers have. Also, in the home daycares, it is very easy for you to find whether these people have been a criminal record or anything because it's only a few people in the building. When you look up daycares themselves, you're going to find the credentials of the building and the name, not of the people. Some of us think about babysitters as nannies. If you hire a babysitter with no credentials, you're going to get what you're hired. Not saying that some babysitters are better than nannies, because some of them are. Some of you want to get very technical and you want to say the more of the price, the better that my child's going to be taken care of. You have to consider everything together in when you're doing childcare. You have to consider it. Location is everything. Not in all cases when it comes to financial gain of childcare. Sometimes the location of the childcare can be a bit iffy, but the quality of the childcare will be high standard. Understanding that just because you pay more doesn't mean you get more. You have to understand what is going on with your situation. Now, word of mouth is everything. Every time you get a good word of mouth from someone, I need you to do me a favor and count it as $10. Just $10. If you find great things about the school online, or sometimes most of the home daycares aren't online, what you need to do is add $100. You guys are looking at this as if childcare is just like going to work. It's not. Childcare is one of the most biggest businesses in the United States. Matter of fact, let's check that all over the world. What makes childcare so lucrative is that we need someone to take care of our children. Some of us take our kids to schools because we think that that is a easy childcare that's free. But then I want to ask you a question. When you take your children to school, and these days, will your child return home? You're thinking, I'm paying for this. This is what I'm going to get. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. What I want everybody to understand is that when you're doing financial consideration, you need to consider all options. Inside the master course, you see a paper that tells you every option and what it is. But just because someone tells you an option doesn't mean it's something that's going to stand. Life changes in the blink of an eye. When you have a one-on-one experience with someone, normally when your situation changes, it will help you stability your child or stabilize your child. If I can talk today, it'd be great. Anyway, stabilize your child so they will not be moving around. You also have to worry about teacher turnover. Teacher turnover is the most devastating thing to a child, to get used to someone else. They might love the daycare, but the daycare can't hold teachers. You need to pay attention to that. I know it's so hard for you to work and then you expect these people to take care of your kids. But if you don't understand the people that are in the building, if no one's communicating, then you don't know what is actually going on. You just know your child just loves being there. That's all you know. Having a daycare is nothing like having a babysitter. Babysitters are paid by hour unless you put them on salary. But understand, parents, when you have a babysitter on salary, the credentials have to match. And that's how you get a tax deduction. If you didn't know that, this is something for you guys to understand. If the babysitter has been with you for more than 5 years, then you can have a tax reduction because that is a part of your stabilized childcare. Nannies are way different. Most nannies have CPR. They have everything you need. They're trained in this. But then some nannies, they only have schooling and no experience. You need to have both when it comes to your child. Why is this in the financial consideration? These are all things that you need to take into accountability. Now, a lot of us say, okay, well, I know this person since they grew up. That's nice. But as we grow up, our ideas change. You need to understand that when you're doing this, picking a child care, take all the worries out and think like a boss. You are super mom, super dad. Think like a boss. Your precious cargo. And the reason why I always say precious cargo is because our children are priceless. If you think like a boss, you're not going to let anything slide past you. Even if you think you're being overbearing, leave yourself that way. If you have any more questions about financial consideration, I would go over to the master course and I would look very deeply into it. Right now, we're trying to get you thinking about the right prices. And if you think cheap is going to get you the best, you might want to think again. It's like going out and buying a pair of shoes. If you buy a pair of shoes from Walmart, they might stand up for a year or two, but they're going to have some cracks in it. You buy a pair of shoes from Amazon that's $145, they might stand up or they might get a hole in it. You're taking a gamble. But in order for you to skim the gamble down, nobody wants to play Russian roulette with their children. So in order for you to get it together, you have to stop and ask yourself questions. You don't have to do that in front of anybody. You don't have to tell anybody you're doing it. But understand the name of the game is about price. In order to price your childcare, you must understand the experience and the education equals success. A lot of people say you don't have to have experience. In this case, experience, education, and turnover equals success. That is the financial consideration that you have to look at. If you don't look at these things, you could be landing your child into a devastating situation. Imagine you getting a phone call in the middle of a meeting or in the middle of a rush hour that you have to come pick up your child for a dangerous situation. You take that feeling and you put it into yourself when you are doing financial consideration. You must always be a part of your child care. And I'm here to help you walk through it. If you want to go slow with it, that's fine. Take the crash course. See if you can handle it. What do you get out of this crash course? The most important thing you get is the knowledge to arm yourself, because knowledge is power. Y'all keep going in the course. I'll still be here. Y'all know what to do.